and people can find you on Twitter as well. You have a handle?
I do, Real Yaverbomb.
Yaverbomb. All right. And then we've got Ed Pasquale, former advisor for John Huntsman's presidential campaign, joining us live in the Miami bureau. Ed, I hope I got your last name right.
You did great, Laura.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you, and welcome.
Aren't you always jealous of the Miami bureau?
I know, right? Every time we go to the Miami bureau, it's beautiful palm trees and a nice blue sea behind you. So, gentlemen, I want to bring you both in. I hope, Ed, you were able to hear some of Mike Emanuel's report talking to undecided voters. I first want to turn to Eric here on set and just get your take on what Mike was talking about with those voters.
Well, I think that what's going to happen in this election is going to go right. It's going to be week by week by week. Who makes a misstatement? I've always said it's the economy. It's got to be. If filling up my tank is a problem and my house is worth less, it's got to be an issue. And now suddenly we have national security back on as a top issue. I think it very much matters what happens the 2 weeks before the election. And
Ed, before I get to you, I promised that we would bring in our viewers. We already have people sending us comments. VSLSR sends in a comment. It's almost unbelievable to me how there could be undecided voters still out there. What are they waiting for? And then, can you read this? Comes to us and says they need to hear more. Why? Haven't you seen enough in the last 4 years? Ed, what do you make of these undecided voters and where their heads are at this point?
Well, Laura, you know that if you're undecided now, usually you break against the incumbent. So that's good news for Mitt Romney. Now, the other side is it's always the economy. It's been the economy all along. You got really, the real unemployment rate is closer to 15%, not just over 8%, according to the Department of Labor. You've got people underwater on their homes and a number of people underemployed and trying to figure out how to make ends meet. So hope and change 4 years ago really has fallen short. I think the interview of the undecided voter in Virginia, he summed it up best, that he voted for Obama last time based upon the hope and change, and the president's policies have failed him.
Now, Ed, I was listening to what that gentleman in the restaurant said. He said he felt that Obama is disengaged, pointing to the fact that he's going to be on Letterman tonight. But I believe that this morning I turned on the TV and I think I saw Mitt Romney on live with Kelly and Michael. So, I mean, all the, they're both making appearances. Is that something that can be held against either candidate?
No, I mean, not generally, no. I mean, you communicate your message. The real key for Mitt Romney is to remain disciplined on the economic message and to really tell the voters how their situation is going to be impacted for the positive as under a President Romney administration. And so it's just not enough to say, I'm not President Obama, so vote for me. He needs to say, hey, I'm going to help your lot in life right now. We're going to get jobs going. I know how the economy works. He's got a great background and talk to that, but he needs to stay on that message.
All right. Well, you teed it up nicely to talk about what's happening with the video that is circulating that is getting so much attention this morning. Of course, we're talking about Mitt Romney, who, this video surfaced at a fundraiser from a few months ago showing him telling wealthy donors that almost half of all Americans, quote, believe they are victims entitled to extensive government support. He added that as a candidate for the White House, my job is not to worry about those people. So, what do we think about that, Eric?
That's the problem with staying, on message about the economy, which is debatable, which way the American public swings just on that issue. But the problem with staying on message is something keeps happening every day that in real time you got to respond to. Mm-hmm. And Mitt Romney will have to respond to things that are going on in the world now. And he's going to have to be very, very careful with how he responds and the rate at which he responds. I mean, everybody looking, happy and doing Letterman or morning TV, they have to do that stuff. And it's kind of nonsense that we all criticize each other for doing, that. But the video was a mistake. He was at a private fundraiser. You want to run for president of the United States and there's a guy with a video camera in the room, then I would be very careful about it.
Well,
That's
it didn't
one.
look like it was hidden. It looked like maybe it was like either under the table,
possibly,
on the
but
table.
You're running for president. I would just assume it. But two, when you get your opportunity to respond, I would have bear hugged that issue if I was him. I would have embraced it, and I would have explained what I actually did mean. And he didn't do that either. Well,
at this news conference that he called yesterday, Romney conceded the comments weren't elegantly stated and that he had spoken off the cuff. Ed in Miami, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
Well, you know, he's right. He did speak off the cuff, and I do think that the campaign needs to go back to the economy. Now, a new issue did come up with respect to these, what I believe are terrorist attacks timed to 9/11 and around 9/11 in the Middle East. And this is an indication, in my view, of failed policies of Obama. I mean, some of this siding with the Muslim world on certain issues against our natural ally, Israel, I think is coming home to roost, is not paying the dividends that I think the Obama administration had hoped. In fact, with Benjamin Netanyahu in New York today, I mean, look, you've got a real schism. And so when we're talking about how we're undecided voters are, I think there's a large undecided, particularly in Florida, of Jewish voters who probably haven't voted for a Republican candidate in some time, but are considering Mitt Romney because they feel disenfranchised by the policies and the actions and are very concerned about where the Obama administration is relative to Israel.
And back onto the video, and you're right, this has definitely opened the gate. A lot of people are talking about each of their policies and their thoughts on domestic and foreign terrorism. Right. They also, I want to just bring up that Obama's campaign manager, Jim Messina, quickly issued a fundraising appeal based on this video that is now making the rounds, which, by the way, was shot May 17th at a fundraiser in Florida. And he says, Messina says, if we don't come through for President Obama right now, this will be the guy, meaning Romney, making big decisions that affect us and our families every single day.
But that response, which happened so quickly, remember, this is a video shot in May that's now making the rounds. Suddenly it's news now. What Jim did is he responded. Everybody on the list, I'm on it, got that email 6 different ways to Sunday immediately. That's the place that Obama wins all the time. He wins with social media. He wins on the internet. He wins with speed. He wins with efficiency there. That's where the swing vote is. I've been saying that for months.
What do you think about that, Ed?
Well, I mean, look, the combat for Romney is when they launched the video of the Democratic National Convention and the debacle that occurred on the floor relative to Jerusalem. I saw those emails go out and those texts go out to a number of voters, particularly in southern Florida, and it made the rounds inside of the Jewish community. And leaders there are telling me that there is a tremendous amount of concern relative to the Obama policy in the Middle East, where Benjamin Netanyahu is and his relationship with the president, and where this administration wants to take the relationship with Israel. I think that's a very big issue. I agree with Eric that the response is a tit for tat. But, you know, look, really, there may be 1.5 issues in this campaign. The first issue, first and foremost, is the economy. People need jobs. Unemployment is high. We've got all kinds of serious debt issues. The second may be emerging in Middle East policy and some of the policy in and around both Iran, the Middle East generally, and Israel. And there is a big difference between the two candidates there.
Right. And what do you think about that? I mean, as you know, there's a lot, these two things are going on right now. And of course, a lot of our attention is focused on the Middle East. In terms of comparing the two on their message.
I think that you want to be president of the United States. I mean, a long time ago, Hillary Clinton asked the question, who do you want to be answering the phone at 3 in the morning? Turned out Obama's answering the phone at 3 in the morning. I mean, and answering the phone at 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. It's a hard job. I don't know why anybody would want it. It's a 26-hour-a-day job.
Right.
But that said, it's also one of the things that you have to be incredibly proficient at is communication in every which way, shape, and form. It's not just saying the right words, but it's saying them at the right place. And of course, you know, look, when it comes to the issue of Israel, I think the Jewish vote will clearly swing away from Obama. It always swings towards the president or towards the candidate who is more, pro the relationship with Israel. But, I think that the proficiency, the efficiency, and the speed in which Obama delivers messages is going to be the big difference in this race. I don't think it's going to be that close.
You don't think it's going to be that close?
I think that we're going to be sitting around and we're going to be able to go to sleep by midnight knowing who the president is for once.
Wow. Do you agree, Ed?
No, I actually don't.
Surprise!
It may be, yeah, surprise. It may be early in Florida. I think you're going to get a chance to see really early 2 states on the East Coast, Virginia and Florida, where they go, and that'll determine how long the evening is. And then when you get into the Midwest, you've got 4 or 5 states that are really in play. And so it might be a very long evening. Or, you know, here's the other thing. If these debates, and this goes back to, Eric is not entirely wrong here, in that Romney and Obama are fighting over every news cycle. But you have a series of debates coming up, and I do believe that, you know, undecided voters are likely to break based upon the results of those debates.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I did an interview recently, and we were talking about the speed at which information is delivered, and the reporter said to me, "Oh, that was so 7 seconds ago." I mean, and I said, "Oh, I'm repeating that line. It's true.
It's true.
There's a whole block of
refresh.
voters that absolutely like. So, what happens today? How do you react to it? And what happens in the world? Because none of us know what's going to happen the 2 weeks before the election. None of us.
Right, and a lot of people, but a lot of people are remaining in circling like sharks, if you will, around this video. And I just want to, because I want to get to some of our viewer comments and bring in just a couple of them here. Can you read this again? Sends us a message. 47% is a large number. That leaves only 53% to pick up the slack. What if the 53% decrease to 50 or 48 or even lower? Then who will pick up the slack? Charles Reese writes in, what Mitt said regarding the 47 to 49% who don't pay taxes will not vote for him, but Obama is a correct statement. Is it the truth, and do they feel that they are entitled to central government care? And finally, David Larson, thank you for writing in. With all the news on the teachers' union strike, how can people not see that public unions are bad? The highest paid teachers in the nation would not even take a 16% pay raise, because that would mean they would be evaluated and the district would have an easier time getting rid of poor performing teachers. So bringing in yet another part of the
I mean,
news.
you know, that whole issue, it's like Chicago's like on the third page of the newspaper now. I don't know how it is. It's a very big issue. I mean, kids aren't going to school right now as a result of that in a major market, and none of us are talking about it. It's on page 3.
But Laura, there's one thing, I think one thing we have to remember. Let's pull back from this. All the hyperventilation today over these comments, it still doesn't get the person who has been unemployed for an extended period of time a job. It still doesn't provide some security for the person who is underwater in their mortgage or trying to make ends meet so their child can go to college. It doesn't provide any of those things. It doesn't chip away at the enormous debt that we owe the Chinese government. I mean, none of this ultimately matters to the core central issue. Really, are you better off today than when you were 4 years ago? And if you're one of those 15%, because that's the true number, 15% unemployed, and people are concerned that $4,000 was lost on the median income over this last 3.5 years. So hope and change, I think that voter, that undecided voter in Virginia had it best. He was for the hope and change, and basically the Obama administration fell short in delivering on that hope.
Do you have any, we're going to have to move on to our next subject, but I just want to give you a last comment, and we'll get a last comment here from Eric on set as well. Ed, any advice to the candidates, if you could get in their ear?
Is that to me?
That is to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if I were Mitt Romney, advising Mitt Romney, I would be very disciplined on the economy. Stay with your focus. I would be in those battleground states. It's now defined to somewhere between 7 and 9 states, and he should be talking about the economy. If world affairs impact, I think the apologetic nature of trying to justify or apologize for the violence that occurred in the Middle East, I think those are issues that people need to understand, that this administration's policies have failed in the Middle East, and that there is light between where Israel is relative to those things and where the Obama administration is. Those are the things that need to be emphasized in the last 50 days of the campaign.
Okay, and Eric,
and
same to
all
you.
I'll say about that is that in the last 50 days of the campaign, and, you know, anybody who's ever been involved in these elections knows you get message points all day long, and then something happens that you didn't, it wasn't in your message points, but it happened at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so you got to address it. I think that the person who addresses what's happening in real time the fastest, it ought to be the economy, but I think it's going to be who addresses the issues the fastest, the best, and in a way the American public wants to hear.
All right. Well, we want to give thanks to both of you. Ed Pasquale, coming to us from Miami. Thanks so much. Enjoyed the sunshine down there. And Eric Yaverbaum, of course. Thank you.